him the halachas of the Afikomen of the Korban Pesach. The Rasha apparently seems to be asking a very similar question. Ma avoda zos lachem? What is this avoda? What are we doing tonight? What are you guys doing tonight? Lachem, to you. So the Gemara, the Haggadah points out lachem v'lo lo, that he is excluding himself. Lefisha hosi it's asmin aklal kafar be'ikr. Since he is excluding himself by saying lachem to you, and he's not including himself with everyone else, he's kafar be'ikr. There's a lot of different shatim as to why he's kafar be'ikr, what the ikr was over there that he was kafar in. And what do we do to him? We hit him his teeth. Va'afata hake shinav. We strike him, we give him a blunt in his teeth, and we say to him, Bavar ze asa Hashem li v'teisim Mitzrayim. So there's two more questions that I want to ask. Again, the first question that we asked was, why is it necessary to introduce the psukim and to introduce the miracles of Yitzias Mitzrayim through the Arba Banim? That was question number one. Question number two is, this is a kasha that a lot of your Haggadahs, I'm sure, deal with, a lot of the Haggadahs that are in print deal with, is the questions of the Chacham and of the Rasha appear to be very, very similar. This is a classic question. It's going to be in all the your Siddharm, you're probably going to hear this by many of the kids, maybe even the adults as well, is to the Chacham's question of what is the Eidos, the Chukim Mishpatim, what is all this that we're doing is very similar to the Rasha's question of Ma Avoda Hazos Lachem, what is this Avoda? That's Kasha number two. They seem to be very, very similar. So what are the differences between them? And the third thing that we're going to deal with today is the response to the Rasha and to the Chacham. To the Chacham, what do? We teach him the laws of Afikomen. Now, there's many halachas that we could have taught the Chacham. So why is it necessary that we're specifically teaching him the laws of Afikomen? Like, what is that? Why? Like, how do we choose that we aim after nachar Pesach Afikomen? That's kash number. That's that response, and it seems to be, difficult to understand why specifically the Baalei Haggadah chose that this specific halacha to teach, why the halachas of Afikomen, and the Rasha, what do? We strike him in the mouth. Anyone who's in chinuch knows that if a Talmud says something to you which is not exactly the way you like the Talmud to speak, so if you hit him in the mouth, so again, aside from losing your job, and as one should, that's not a chinuch approach to strike him in the mouth. Like, what's going on over there? So what are we responding to the Chacham, and what are we responding to the Rasha? They both appear not to make that much sense to us. So those are our three questions. Aleph, again, one more time, Chazar is very good. Aleph is, why are we introducing the Torah, why are we introducing the psukim through the Arba Banim, which are obviously not real Banim that pose these questions. It's just the Torah is assuming or projecting these are going to be the questions of the Chacham, the Rasha, the Tam, the Isha, Inyo Del Lishol. And that's kasha number one. Kasha number two is the questions seem to be eerily similar. What are in fact the differences between them? And kasha number three is what is the response? What are the responses that we're doing? Why are we teaching the halachas of Pesach, and why are we striking the Rasha in his mouth? So in order to answer these questions, we have a bunch of different answers, but hopefully they'll all come together to formulate the one approach that we're going to take that hopefully will impact our Leil Seder and structure our approach towards the whole Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim and the whole purpose of Yitzias Mitzrayim. The Chidah in the Malbim, the Chidah, and it's brought down over here similarly in the Haggadah of the Malbim, both I highlight two words that are found in the Chacham that are not existent in the Rasha. By the Chacham, what does he say? Ma edus v'achukim ha'mishpatim asher tziva Hashem Elokeinu. What are the laws that Hashem Elokeinu commanded us, Eschem, commanded you to do? Whereas by the Rasha, what does he say? Ma ha'avoda hazos lachem. He doesn't say a word about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't say anything. The Chacham says, Ma ha'edus v'achukim ha'mishpatim asher tziva Hashem Elokeinu. He's talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rasha doesn't say a word about HaKadosh Baruch Hu at all. Not only that, the Malbim points out that the lashon of Hashem Elokeinu is even more inclusive. He could have said, Hasher tziva Hashem Elokeichem. The fact that he's saying Hashem Elokeinu is that he's including himself, exactly what the Haggadah identifies as the mistake of the Rasha, that he was excluding himself. The lashon of Hashem Elokeinu is inclusive. He's saying Hashem, our God. So the Chida and the Malbim point out the important aspect of the Chacham, that he is recognizing HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Avodah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Halacha. The Rasha, on the other hand, is just often, guys, you guys just spent the year in Eretz Yisrael. I'm very, very jealous of that. How often have we seen people get so engrossed in a chumrah, so engrossed in adhering to certain halachas, that they sort of like even lose sight of the fact that they're doing this for Hashem Elokeinu. We sort of take on certain things that may actually be at the expense of other areas of the Torah, perhaps areas of Ben Adam L'Chaveiro. There was actually a recent shaila that came up, reminded me of, there was a shaila that came up in my house just 2 weeks ago. We have a minhag not to eat matzah from after Purim. Some people have the minhag not to eat matzah from Rosh Chodesh. Some people only Erev Pesach. But my wife had made matzah balls 2 weeks ago, and I saw the matzah balls made, and I didn't say anything. I don't even know if that would be included in the minhag not to eat matzah, to not to have matzah balls. I didn't say anything. And I was thinking of, the reason why I didn't say anything was I was thinking of a shaila that I heard a couple years ago from Rav Tzvi Berkowitz, who's a Rav in Yerushalayim, and it was Aser Simei Tshuva, and there was a person learning in Yerushalayim who had a lot of bachrim over for a suda, and the husband had noticed that his wife had prepared a dessert that had pas palter in it. It was a dessert that the pie, the cakey part underneath the pie was pas palter, which there's a very, very strong minhag in Aser Simei Tshuva to only eat pas Yisrael. Mishnah Brewer brings that minhag down. There's a very strong minhag that we have. So very quickly, after realizing that there was pas palter instead of this pas Yisrael, and there was Aser Simei Tshuva, Shabbos Shuva, all these very serious bachrim are going to be eating over. He ran to Rav Tzvi and he asked him, what's the can I eat? Can I actually eat? Can I serve this pie even though it's pas palter, even though it's not adhering to that chumrah? And he said, without even batting an eye, he said absolutely, completely. Imagine how your wife will feel if you tell her she can't serve this dessert that she was putting so much into. That is recognizing the Hashem Elokeinu in the halacha, in the Shulchan Aruch. The Chacham wants to know, what is the Eidos, what are the Chukim, what are the Mishpatim? Asher Tziva Hashem Elokeinu, that's what makes a Chacham versus the Rasha. Even if we want to say the Rasha, even though majority of the Mefarshim say that the Rasha is not really interested in knowing any of the halachas, but even if we would want to say maybe he actually is interested in knowing what the Avodah is, there's no reference of Hashem. There's no recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the first pshat according to the Chida and the Malbim. The Rasha not seeing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not necessarily caring about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, simply wanting to know the Avodah, and the Chacham seeking out Ratzon Hashem, seeking out what HaKadosh Baruch Hu really wants. Pshat number one. For the second pshat, we're gonna look at the next two psukim that we see over here. This is the answer that's brought down by the Kli Yakar, and he's going to identify the difference between the Chacham and the Rasha. Kli Yakar says in order to understand the real differences between them, you have to look at the psukim where the Torah is going to be discussing where the Haggadah gets the Chacham, the Chacham and the Rasha for us. So in Shmos Yud Gimel Yudalid, Pasuk says, "V'haya ki yish'alcha bincha macher lemor mazos." This is really the pasuk by the Tam, talking about the third of the Arba Banim. The pasuk says that when your child will ask you, when he's going to come to you, machar ki yish'alcha bincha macher lemor mazos, v'amarte love, you will respond to him, ki b'chozek yad hotzianu Hashem mitzrayim beis avadim. And similarly, we see by the Chacham in Dvarim Vav Chaf, Ki yish'alcha bincha machar leimar ma edus v'achukim v'shmonim asher tziva Hashem Elokeinu, and then we're going to respond to him as we do. So the Kli Yakar points out, what word do you see similarly between the Tam and the Chacham over there, which is not existent by the Rasha? The Chacham points out that the word that you see in these psukim is the word machar. What does machar mean? Tomorrow. So when your son will ask you tomorrow, Shmos Yud Gimel Yudal, Shmos Vav Chav, Ki Yish'acha bin Chamachar, identical Lishonos between these two psukim. So says the Kli Yakar, this attitude of Machar, of tomorrow, this attitude of Naseh v'Nishma, of understanding that we're not just living in this world for today. That's not what Olam Hazeh is all about. Olam Hazeh is not for today. There's a term in the Umos HaOlam, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with, called YOLO. Right? You guys are familiar with YOLO? YOLO, you only live once. So that is so against the Hashkafas HaTorah. Obviously, we have to experience positively what HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us in this world. We know the Nazir has to bring the carbon chatos because he's rejecting the Tanugei Olam Hazeh. But this approach of YOLO is antithetical to the Chacham and the Tam over here, of where they're describing Ki Yish'acha bin Chamachar. Tomorrow, your son will ask you. It's a recognition that today is not the Iker. It's the Naseh v'Nishma. It's we'll do it today, and tomorrow we will listen to the halachas. Tomorrow we're going to understand on a deeper level what we're supposed to be doing in Olam Hazeh. The Rav Moshe Feinstein actually asks in Drash Moshe in Parashas Bo, Rav Moshe Feinstein asks that if you look interestingly, as you guys see in the Maram Komos, the Tam, his kash is in Shmos Yud Gimel, and the Chacham is in Dvarim Vav. So who do we think is better between the Chacham and the Tam? Who do you think, at least the Haggadah definitely portrays one of them as being better? The Chacham, right? So wouldn't you think, this is Rav Moshe's kasha, in Drash Moshe at the end of Parashas Bo, wouldn't you think that the Chacham would come first in the Torah? That first in Shmos Yud Gimel you'd have the Chacham, and then in Dvarim Vav you'd have the Rasha. So the Tam. So why is it that the Tam takes precedence in the Torah? So says Rav Moshe, very important, that I want to read this lashon inside, just because it's actually very important to see this. It says V'nireh mishum demitchila tzarich ha'adam loli hischakim ela lisho mazos ad sheyeda hakol. This midah of loli hischakim, that's what Rav Moshe Feinstein's saying. Mitchila, it's better loli hischakim. You don't have to, how many times you guys spent the year learning? How many times is someone like running to understand the lumdis before they understand the pshat? I'm sure so many Rebbeim who are trying to guide you in how to learn and how to approach a Gemara are talking about people who, before they even know what Rashi's saying, they're looking at the Marsha on Rashi, or the Pnei Yeshua on Rashi, or talking about how Rashi argues with other Rishonim before they even know what Rashi's saying, before they even know what Tosfos is saying. So says Rav Moshe, what are we learning from the fact that the Torah first lists the Tam and then the Chacham? He says, Mitchila tzarich adam lo lihischakim, ela lisho mazos. Yes, you should be the Tam. First we should be a Tam. Take in all the halachas. V'rak achar sheyeda hakol. Only after we know all the halachas, yeh rasha lihischakim. Then you could be mischakim. Then you could learn a little bit more. Then you could get into the depth of what each halacha is. But that's this midah of machar. Machar is the Naseh v'Nishma of I'll do today. I'll be the Tam today, and tomorrow I'll be the Nishma. Tomorrow I'll get deeper into it. I'll get deeper into the Havana and understanding. That's why first we start with the Tam, and then we move to the Chacham. I want to, as the last pshat of these three pshatim, I want to introduce to you guys a very interesting Yerushalmi. This Yerushalmi spoke to me when the first time I saw it. It just shot out at me, and I think it's very important to understand. This really will highlight the midah of the Rasha and understand how we should be living our lives. The Yerushalmi says in Psachim, Einam Beis. The Yerushalmi says, Ben Rasha Ma'ahu Omer. What does the Rasha say? It's on the second sheet of our Mar Makomos. Ma avoda hazos lachem. So what is the Yerushalmi? That's what we see in our Haggadah. Ma avoda hazos lachem. Says the Yerushalmi, what is this that you're making us go through all year? Every single year you're making us go through the same thing. The magid, the karpas, going through the washing our hands, no bracha, yes bracha, someone carrying around kazayis. What is all of this? What is this Torah? Says the Ritva. The Ritva says an interesting pshat in this Yerushalmi. The Ritva says that the Rasha wants to eat. The Rasha wants to eat. It's hungry. Now, don't worry. If you guys want to eat at the Seder, it's like a normal thing. It's going to be 10, it's going to be like 11 o'clock, 11:30 before you even put anything into your mouth. Maybe you'll have a little wine and a little potato, celery, whatever you had. Less than a kazayis, as we just said. But so it's a normal thing to want to eat. But the Rosh is saying, Ma Torah chazeh she'atem matrichim aleinu b'chol shana v'shana. Why are we doing this? Like, let's just get to the Suda. It's kind of interesting. Like, we set the whole table and we have everything planned out so that the kids can ask questions. They can notice it's a little bit different than the typical Friday night Suda, Yontif Suda. But then we don't there's no food over there. So the Rosh is agitated by this. The Rosh wants to eat. Which other Rosh in the Torah have we seen that has had the same midah? Esav HaRasha. He comes back and he wants to eat. He's ready to sacrifice the Bechorah. He's ready to give up the financial and the spiritual heights simply because of the food. It's the same midah of the Rosh over here, according to the Ritva and the Yerushalmi. What are you being matriach me for? Why are we schlepping this out? Enough with the Divrei Torah. Enough with the halachas and the kazayis charts and all the different chas v'shalom. Obviously, this is the Rosh speaking. So what do we do to him? We hit him in the mouth. We strike him in the mouth. Why? Why is that the appropriate punishment to the Rasha? Not punishment. Why is it the appropriate response? Because he doesn't get Olam Hazeh. Olam Hazeh is not simply about getting to the meal. It's not simply about Hayom, which is the diuk that the Kli Yakar makes of Machar, which is evident by both the Chacham and the Tam. That's the Midas Harasha. The Midas Harasha is Hayom. That's the Midah of Esav. The Midah of Esav is give me the food right now. I don't care. You take the Bukhara, take it. That's the Midah of Rishos, is thinking Olam Hazeh is for right now. Is this Midah of YOLO? And again, if you ever go bungee jumping and you say, I'm doing this because you only live once, fine. Like, have fun. If you're Rebbe, if you think it's mutter to do. I'm not saying it's usher to do. I just have seen scary videos of cord snapping. So I wouldn't recommend doing something that could potentially jeopardize your safety. However, the midah, I'm not saying it's always usher. There are many things we do. There's many tanugei olam hazeh, as we said before, that a person must take advantage of. But the midah of ma Torah chazeh, what are we sitting here for? Why are we wasting so much time with this for? He's just missing the boat. He's totally missing the boat. So we hit him in the mouth to show him it's not just about eating. It's not, maybe we could have said it in a softer way, but the musar is to tell him it's not about the food. So we strike him in the mouth. So why do we, maybe now one of you guys could tell me what's pshat, why do we teach the chacham the laws of Pesach, the laws of the afikomen? Everyone, I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this. The halacha is that we have to eat the afikomen ala sova. You eat it when you're full. You eat the afikomen when you're full. It's dessert. By the time we get to afikomen, nobody is hungry. No, not that this is, again, if you're in a hotel, I'm sure there's lavish foods that have been coming out for the last hour before the afikomen. Even if you're at home, there's delicious home-cooked foods. No one's hungry by the time you get to the afikomen. You have to save a little space to eat, obviously. But the afikomen has to be eaten when you're full, when you've already gone through your suda. The rest of the year might actually be asa to eat the afikomen because of achila gasa. You can't eat when you're full. It's brought down in halacha. You wouldn't necessarily make a bracha rishona if you're eating beyond the point of when you're already full. So why do we teach the chacham the laws of the afikomen? Why? So maybe we could say the pshat is exactly the reaction that we're having because of his attitude that the Yerushalmi describes. The chacham wants to understand the true avoda, the edus, the mishpatim, the chukim. What do we do to him? We tell him it's not about the physical and olam hazeh. We teach him a halach about a food when it doesn't make sense to actually eat food. It doesn't make sense to eat the afikomen at that point. So that's exactly, we're teaching this, the very same lesson that the Rasha is the trap that the Rasha had fallen into. We're teaching the halachas of afikomen that you have to eat it al sofa. You're not allowed to eat anything afterwards. What do you mean by you're not allowed to eat anything afterwards? If you're hungry, you should eat. That's what Olam Hazeh tells you. You're not allowed to eat. No, we have halachas, we have chukim, we have mishpatim that we follow. There was a boy by one of the night sidarim a couple of weeks ago that we had in DRS, and we have Carlson Gabbies now, and I'm telling you, his plate was like heaping. It was really stacked. Typical high school plate, but this was not typical. It was a little higher. And this guy, if you'd see him, if he was walking by, maybe I'll point him out to you guys. He is so ripped. He's like every muscle of his body, muscle that you didn't even know existed. He's very fit and very into his body and very into fitness and health. So I said to him, with all what is this all about? Like, I understand everyone else like pounding food the way they are, but first of all, your plate's a lot higher than everyone else's, and second of all, you're so careful about your health. So he said to me, Rebbe, you see this? And he points to this greasy food that's like Niagara Falls, it's dripping and all over. And I said, yeah. So I said, what do you? He said, you see this? I'm like, yes. He says, I'm going to turn this into muscle for the next 3 hours. I guess after night Seder, he's going to turn that into muscle. He said, I'm going to the gym for 3 hours after night Seder, and I'm going to turn all this into muscle. I need to eat this into muscle. My salad, he can't put that into muscle. His Carlos and Gabbis, he can turn that into muscle. Lahavdil, that is achila in Olam Hazeh. We eat for the sake of ruchnis. You see from the Gedolim, they eat, if you ever at a Gadol's house, they eat such simple foods. They say Rav Steinman, he eats like a bowl of porridge. I don't even know they had porridge anymore, but they have it in Bnei Brak. He eats so simply. Could anyone think about Schechter like taking a plate of Carl's and Gabby's and like it doesn't make sense. Our Gedolim understand that the Gashmis and Olam Hazeh is really for the purpose of enhancing our ruchnius. That's what we do on Yontif. We take the food and we have a achila of a bas of yayin on Yontif as a kiyum of the Simchas Yontif. That was the tragic mistake of the Rasha. That was the mistake of Esav HaRasha, thinking the food was for right now. It was the Hayom. It was not like the Macha that the Kli Yakar says. And that's why we teach the halachas of Afikomen to the Chacham. Because those, in the rules of eating, they don't make any sense, Afikomen. You're eating it when you're already full. You're not allowed to eat a second afterwards. That is the Chacham. So to answer our questions that we started off with, of why it's so important to understand, to bring in the boys, to bring in the Chacham, the Tam, the Shechenu de Alishal, the Rasha, it's so important to understand the Midah. Obviously the Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim is important, but what is the purpose of Yetzias Mitzrayim? It's not simply the miracles that took place, even though obviously we have to address them and talk about them and try to reenact some of them even, but it's the understanding of why HaKadosh Baruch Hu did this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did this for us in order for us to be able to serve Him better, to be better Avadim. We were Avadim of Paro, now we're Avadim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do we do that? By following the Midas HaChacham, by distancing ourselves from the Midas HaRasha. We can understand the responses to the Chacham, the halachas Afikomen, which talk about taking physical and making it spiritual, whereas the striking the Rosh in the mouth, because he views this world simply as that of a physical without any spirituality. I want to just finish off. That was really the Vart idea, but I want to just finish off with an important halacha that we see in our Chaim Tov Ayin Ches, Tov Ayin Zayin, Tov Ayin Ches. The Shulchan Aruch says, "Achar afikomen ein lachol shum davar." This is just a little bit of halacha that we're going to do right now. Achar afikomen ein lachol shum davar. After the afikomen, a person should not eat any. He shouldn't eat anything. V'lo yochleinu b'shem mekomos. He's not supposed to eat in two different places. Halacha l'mais, if you're in a hotel and you have, like, say, one family in one side, one room, one chair, one table, and another family in another table that cousins, you shouldn't go from one table to the next. It's the Ramah says lo yochlenu b'shnei mekomos. It's modeled after the halachas of the Korban Pesach. The lo adif mi'ilu hifsik b'shana the asim mishum dahavi kishnei mekomos. So, but I want it very important. The Mechaber points out that it's asur to eat anything after the afikomen. What's the reason? It's really two reasons. The main reason that we see is going to Tosfos and Pesachim Kuvchaf, that it's asur. You have to have the te'im. You have to have the tam of matzah when in your mouth. That's why there are actually some poskim who say that if you eat after afikomen, you have to eat the afikomen again, because according to those Rishonim that the afikomen is d'oraisa. Majority of the Rishonim say it's d'orabanan. According to those who say it's d'oraisa, so it's a suffix d'oraisa if you ate it afterwards, and then suffix d'oraisa l'chumra, you'd have to eat the afikomen again. You guys are not going to eat. You're allowed to drink water. You're allowed to drink seltzer. The post can talk about, are you allowed to even use mouthwash afterwards? Because if you use mouthwash, then you're washing out the tam of the matzah. But water-based ices, they said the post can bring down is going to be okay again because it's not enough of a taste in order to wipe away the tam of the matzah. But again, I want to make it very clear. Why am I saying this halacha right now at the end of this year? Because these halachas of keeping the te'ima, of keeping that taste in your mouth, the halachas of dictating what we should eat, when we should eat it, how we should eat it, leaning, beheseba, before chatzos, achar, nechal al-sova, it's all the midah of the chacham, of taking the spirit, physical, turning it into spiritual. We should all be zocheh to have a chakash v'sameach, and really be able to reach the true spiritual heights that are certainly attainable in these days of Yom Tov.